the CPS, and basically you're calling, which will be probably music to people watching and listening to this as ears, you're calling for a cap on legal migration. You're saying that legal migration numbers should be capped at 100,000. How would that actually work in practice? Because David Cameron, of course, talked about tens of thousands, and then everyone started putting their hands in the air going, oh, no, you know, the NHS will collapse if we put a cap on figures and all the rest of it. Can it work?
Yes, I believe it can, and it would do, and it has to work, because for the last 30 years, politicians of all stripes have promised controlled and reduced immigration, only to deliver the opposite. And the public are rightly furious at what's happened. It's placed immense strain on housing, on public services, on community cohesion, and it hasn't improved the economy. If it had, we would be racing ahead when, in fact, we've got low productivity growth and an economy which has been in recession for almost the last 2 years from a GDP per capita perspective. What we're proposing is that we return to the tens of thousands, but unlike previously, we have a cap. So Parliament itself votes for a democratic lock, so the public can have a degree of confidence, which they don't have today, that when politicians say these things, they mean it, and this will actually happen. And what I want to see happen is a budget, like the budget we have with the Chancellor. I want to see a budget by the Home Secretary, where they have to go to Parliament with proper forecasts, because remember, all these forecasts from the ONS, the OBR, have been terrible at predicting the future of immigration,
well, the OBR
and have real trade-offs explained.
300,000 legal migrants is baked into the system.
But that's far too high, Camilla.
Well, of course it's too high, but at the same time, we've had successive governments, Tories included, failing to do anything. I mean, this rise started with Blair. You give an extraordinary number here. Then 25 years up to Blair being in power, there was 68,000 net migration. The 25 years subsequently, we had 5.89, so that's 100 times as many legal migrants coming into the country.
And these are extreme levels.
Yes.
And I think, as you're saying, a lot of politicians and the media in Westminster are desensitised to what's happening. I don't think the public are.
No.
I think the public are extremely concerned, and they want politicians to finally do something about it.
What do you mean about Britain being a grammar school? You're talking about quality over quantity when it comes to the type of migrants we take in.
That's right. I want us to actually have a guiding philosophy behind our immigration system, not just make ad hoc, sporadic decisions about who comes here. And what I want to see is that we try to be highly selective. We choose people who will be net economic contributors to our country. The problem in recent years is that we've allowed very large numbers of people to come in, 1.2 million people last year, and we haven't thought carefully about who is going to really make a contribution to this country. And that is making the country poorer, not richer. There's been a prevailing orthodoxy that immigration is good for the economy. The report that I've done with the CPS and with Neil O'Brien, an excellent member of Parliament, disproves that. It says that actually the type of immigration we're having, which is predominantly low-skilled, low-wage migrants, is costing you and I and taxpayers across this country money, and we need to be much more selective and choose people who really are the best and the brightest, or who specifically fill in shortages that we need as a country.
We're going to have to be really, really quick because we're running out of time, less time than I thought we would have. Very quickly, will these Rwanda flights take off in the summer, yes or no, do you think, Robert?
I think they will do, but that isn't the point. A few symbolic flights is not a deterrent. Why I've advocated so strongly for this policy is I want a proper deterrent. That's why I tried to amend the bill. The government chose not to do that. We've got to have a deterrent. I don't think this is it, unfortunately.
Sorry we've been squeezed, but you've got your points across, and we can see the report on the CPS website, can't we?
Brilliant.
Thank you very much, Robert Jenrick. I've got to go. I'm going to be back next Sunday at 9:30, but up next, Michael Portillo.